Hi guys, Dr. Choppy here, sports osteopath. Welcome to our final series of the Fusion Wellness Mobility sessions. Today we'll be covering some core. We've been having a lot of questions about core. So what I've done is put together 3 of my favorite core exercises that are applicable to everybody. And if you've been following the series, you know I'm a very big on the coordination between movement and breath. And so once we have that in, you'll better understand core and core stability. All right, so the first movement will be on your back. So we're going to have you on your back. Your feet are going to be up. We're going to be creating a reach. So you just want to be reaching with your toes and your fingers. You're making sure that you can see your fingers and your toes in your vision. That's very important to protect the lower back. And you're doing a reach and then a tuck. Reach and a tuck. Now as I'm reaching, I'm inhaling. And as I'm crunching, or not crunching, as I'm tucking, I'm exhaling. Reaching, inhale, tuck, exhale. Now we're going to add a little more tempo to this, so it's going to look a little faster, and we're going for 10 reps. Inhale. Now you notice my tuck and my exhale is a very forceful exhale. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Okay, one more. All right. So next we're moving into side tuck and reach. So we're going to reach, and as you reach, you're going onto your side. This is also called a cashew nut or banana position, depending on where you are in the world. All right, so from this position, as I'm tucking in, the tuck is going to rotate me onto my back. So it should be effortless because I'm using the tension in my spine that is natural for everybody to roll me back onto my spine. Okay? So you don't have to go too far, but again, the emphasis is on your breathing. Inhale. As you exhale, tuck. All right, let's go for 8 more here. Inhale, exhale, tuck. Inhale, exhale, tuck. Inhale, exhale, tuck. Now, in my experience, I've found these the most effective core exercises because it involves not a lot of cueing and a lot of right tension in the right places. Let's switch sides now. So we're going on to our left side, reaching. Inhale, exhale, tuck. Now that's 2. So make sure you can still see your fingers and toes through the reach. Two more. Gonna shuffle back onto the mat. And 1 more. All right, so we've got front and then we've got the side. So I made a correction there. It's not a crunch, it's a tuck. The difference is in a tuck, you're getting nice and tiny and small. You're using your hips to drive the tuck motion and you're exhaling. Okay, crunches, we don't like to use the word crunches because it involves bringing the chest towards the hip, whereas a tuck, you're bringing the hip towards the chest. So very important distinction there for developing a strong core. All right, as you can see, I'm puffed, so it'll just give you an idea of the awesomeness of that exercise. All right, so next we're going to move into some what we call rotational stability patterns. So you can work up to this. It's a bit of an intermediate exercise and involves controlling the rotation of your spine. So we're on all fours, okay? We're going to get the knees above the ground, just hovering, just enough so you feel like your lower back is parallel to the ground. Okay, and then we're going to reach. So right hand, left hand reaches. You're going to make contact under your hip. So right knee, right elbow, left knee contact, and then reach. Right elbow, left knee contact, reach. So doing about 10 of those. And if this is challenging, you're just doing as many as you can until you lose control. So again, not very easy, very challenging. So let's try that on the opposite side. So reaching with the fingers and the toes, bringing the elbow and the knee to touch under your body. And the whole time, I'm having fun and not taking life too seriously. Good. Let's go for 2 more here. And 1. Whew. All right. So those are the first 2 exercises. The third movement is for the lower back, and it allows you to build what's called a hinge pattern. Now, a hinge pattern is your ability to bend forward and lift something up off the ground safely. So we start off on our knees to build a hinge pattern. And the reason we start on our knees is so that you're learning to use the right joints to move. So specifically, it's the hip joint. So your hinge pattern, basically, hips go back, torso comes forward. Okay, so this is the pattern, but the driver is your hips. So if you're in a standing position, it's going to teach you to push your hips back to lift. So you're not using your back to lift. All right, so this is the hinge pattern. We want to make sure that we're tucking the pelvis up. Now this tuck in the pelvis is anchored with the core work we've just done. So you should feel a lot of tension through the front here and all the way around. Once you have that tension, we're sitting back and then pushing the hip forward. So for more of a challenge, we have the hands in the back of the head, and this puts a lot more emphasis on the muscles that support the back of the spine. So the cueing is tucking up through the pelvis, having stability or tension through the abdominal wall, and then hinging forward, keeping that tension in through the abdominal wall, and using the hips to sit back and drive forward. Good. So we'll go for 10 here. Slower the better. You get to the top, you're checking in on your cue. So your cue is to tuck the hip in and use the hip to drive forward. That's it. Good. Let's go for 2 more. Great. All right, guys, so those are the 3 exercises. So you can think about it as a front and back routine to help you stabilize your core and also allow you to be functional enough to bend over safely to lift up objects through your hinge pattern. All right, so that brings us to the end of our Fusion Wellness series. My name is Dr. Choppy, Somji, sports osteopath. Thanks for staying tuned, and thanks for taking part and looking silly at home. That's the most important thing. And remember, if anything, just work on coordinating your breath with movement. It doesn't matter what you do, but bringing that awareness and bringing that connection to your breath and movement has been the focus and the theme for these series. So feel free to combine all the 5 series together, or use each exercise as you need to, depending on what you felt was giving you the most relief and the most connection to your body. All right, guys, thanks a lot for joining us, and stay tuned for some more awesome Fusion series programs.